I Barak Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai, Bashim Hakodash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to brothers in the highways and byways, doing the work sincerely and faithfully and continually fighting the good fight of faith, Lord willing. We are found to be in that number to be delivered. And likewise for you sisters who truly trust and believe in the name of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, may you be found worthy as well. All right. So I'm going to say it this way. IUIC is at it again. All right. They're at it again. And it doesn't cease to amaze. You know, every couple years or so, they'll throw their hat in the ring for, some financial benefit. All right. So just to backtrack a little. First, you had IUIC trying to raise money to build a mega school. All right. Then you had IUIC trying to raise money to get a 747 jetliner with the logos all over it, IUIC logos all over it. And now you have the land grab, the IUIC land grab, and they're making commercials and internet commercials, and speaking about how great this is, a great of opportunity this is going to be for them. All right, so I just looked up the definition of land grab. It says refers to the acquisition of large areas of land, often agricultural purposes or resource extraction, which can have a negative impact on local communities and the environment. It often involves dispositions of indigenous people and small-scale farmers and can be driven by corporate interests, foreign investments, or government policies. All right. And this is their definition. This is what IUIC is using as a land grab. Now, land grab, I believe, is code for cash grab. All right. This is all this is going to end up being, as a cash grab, because history over the past 18 years have clearly shown any group that has tried to step up to raise money for, going off the grid or building a building or getting involved in some type of way has always come to naught. You had men in the past, taking money from their congregation and fleeing out of the midst of Babylon, only to get somewhere, and it seemed like they were in a goddamn cardboard box. I'm talking about Rakar from the HOGGC, whatever it is. Him and his man was in the I don't know what they looked like. They were in a cardboard box, real close together. And he was, all right, Shalom. We've made it to an undisclosed location. And if you brothers who've been around, you probably remember that video. Left everybody high and dry, but they was off to an undisclosed location. That came to naught. And I believe people are still looking for their money. All right. So all that being said, this is IUIC's attempt to buy a piece of land for what we do not know. But hey, they're pushing it to their congregation. Now, the brother Elder Menachem Zagbar, he did his lesson a little while ago. In his intro, he had one of the members of IUIC reading the monitor or his phone. He was reading something about, this one donated this much, this one donated that much, and the numbers were just adding up, man. It was tallying up fast. If I remember, one sent $1,000, $500, $50, $100. So them numbers are gonna add up. All right. But let's get into a little bit of the numbers, and let's get into a little bit of, some of the things that IUIC clearly understands, but truly don't, disclose to their congregation. All right, so let's go. Let's start with this. Deuteronomy 28:48. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. All right. So here you are crying out to the congregation to fuel and to send money so you can buy a piece of land. All right. So on the outset, you would say this piece of land is to get away from Esau. You can set up your own community and, as they've been saying with their little commercials, to assist the community. All right. But you got to go through Esau. And we very well know Esau is not going to let a group of black men, because they know who you are. They've seen your videos. They've seen you marching. They've seen you chanting and cadencing and all. They've seen all that. You think they're going to let this group decide that they're going to try to buy some land and set up some type of community to what? Raise up more of you so he can be threatened even more? Absolutely not. This is how we know it'll come to naught. Just like every other group that tried to do the same thing. All right? So, I want to bring this out. I want to bring the scripture out right here, because this is Genesis 14 going down to verse 20. I'm going to start at 22 and work our way down. But I want to say this. You're reaching out to all these people, right? When in fact, you have the ability to acquire the resource, the financial backing that you need to buy this piece of property, right? So let's get into it. Let me start here. This is Genesis 14. I'm going to start at 22. And it says, "And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High Power, the possessor of heaven and earth, that I will not take from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take anything that is thine, lest thou shouldst sayest, I have made Abram rich." All right. Now, why do I bring that up? Because when this thing that IUIC is trying to go for, when it fails, and lo, it will fail, right? These people that you're taking money from, one or two things are going to happen. Let's say it prospers, and these people don't get to reap the benefit of utilizing this piece of land. They're going to say, what? If it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have that land, right? Now, if it falls through, these people again are going to say, well, where's our money? You took all this money from us. We don't see no land. We don't see no building. We don't even know where this piece of land is, right? So again, using the resources outside of your camp, going to the congregation, is going to leave you liable to either have to answer to somebody or pay somebody back. All right. And that's just the way the track record has showed improved through the years, when men have done the same exact thing and you had the same exact result. Absolutely not. It came to naught. Right. So now I brought that out to bring this out. Let's watch this video real quick. And we've seen these videos time and time again. But in the beginning of the video, I believe it's going to say 800 men. Let me fast forward, because there's a lot of talking in this shit here. It's going to say about 800 men. Now check this out. Look at all those men. All right. You ain't gonna listen to that nonsense. All right. So you had all those men, and they was all out there in unison, in line, and it looked like more than 800 to me. But hey, they're the ones who put the video together, right? So let's do a little math here. All right. So what I said was, why would you go outside of the camp when you could have acquired the financial backing from within inside the congregation, within the camp? All right. And that way your hands would have been clean from having to explain something to somebody if it fell through. Your hands would have been clean if you had to, explain something to somebody and pay them back and wasn't able to pay them back. All right. So let's go with 800 men, right? 800 men. And let's say 800 men times $40, right? 800 men times 40 is going to come up with $32,000. $32,000. All right. So now they haven't disclosed what type of land they're looking for, what size of property is, what's going to go on this property once the land is. They haven't said none of that. And so be it. All right. But let's just use some round numbers and let's just use some basic information. All right. So now we know that they have the ability from within the camp themselves to raise $32,000. And this can be done in a matter of a week. All right. So from there, let's go back here. Right. All right. So we look up some acreage in the state of Georgia. So the cost of 5 acres of land in Georgia can vary widely, but it generally falls within the range of $20,000 to $40,000. All right. Or even higher depending on location, features. The average price per acre in Georgia is about $4,000 to $8,000. All right. So again, they're falling right in the middle just by going through the men of their camp. It'll be about $32,000. All right. So let's look at how big 5 acres is. Now again, most pieces of property, they're probably on 3-4 acres maybe. Most businesses. All right. So we'll give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll say 5 acres, which is a large piece of land. So 5 acres equals 217,800 square feet. All right. So let's break that down so we can get that into perspective. So put in a standard American football field, including the end zones, covers 57,600 square feet. All right. So we can do this. Let's do this. So, matter of fact, what was that number? 57,000. Let's go back real quick. 217. All right. Let's go to the calculator. Let's go 57,600 times 4. And that's going to give us roughly 230,400. All right. So let's say that's 4 football fields. All right. That's 4 football fields that IUIC can purchase with $32,000 just by going through the men in the camp. Right. And this is why I said this is a money grab, not a land grab. All right. Think about it. If you're going outside your camp because they were saying, this one's sending $1,000, that one's sending $1,000, and we used just the basic numbers of the round number of $40 per brother. All right. So it's a money grab, not a land grab. And they know by their own actions that whatever they thinking they got going on is going to fall short. It already fell short for them twice with the big cathedral they wanted to build and the big 747 jetliner passenger plane they wanted to buy. Shit fell short. And likewise, this thing now that they're trying to conjure up, this big scam, all right? It's going to come to naught. It's going to fall short. So now, as we read earlier, you're going to have to go to the enemy in want of all things. History itself has shown you that the so-called black, Negro, Latino, Native American men in America cannot prosper. I don't give a damn who they say it's for. Because in their little spills, they say, oh, we're going to build a community center to make all the children safe and make everybody feel comfortable. Esau ain't trying to hear that shit. Esau controls this whole thing. He's not going to let you supersede him. He's not going to let you get over him. He's not going to let you take the shine. All right? Check this out. Now, anybody who follows boxing, you know this guy down here in the left-hand corner is Gervonta Davis. And it says, the block that Gervonta Davis purchased in Baltimore yesterday has burned down. All right? Gervonta was committed to renovating the apartments and making them affordable housing. What's that tell you? You men from IUIC, you know, you're talking big talk. We're going to get the money together, buy a big piece of land, and build a community center to get the community right. Esau don't want the community right. Esau wants guns and drugs in the neighborhoods. That's what he wants. So he's not gonna let you do this, even if you did raise all that money without having to go to the banks and getting a loan. Even if you did raise it, Esau's not gonna sell to you. He's not gonna sell to you. All right? He's seen what you men are doing. He's seen you out there marching 800, 900, 1,000 men deep. You think he's gonna let you just decide to get involved and buy land in his land, in his country? Not a chance. All right? So, all that being said, history is going to repeat itself. This thing that they're trying to do is going to come to naught, and it's going to show. All right? So let's continue. 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. Measuring the time is very important. All right? You can't be, you know, a leader and not be in sync of the times that you're living in. It's impossible. Because being a leader, you're the guide. All right? You're the one who people are seeking to. You're the one who people are coming to for direction and understanding. You know, if the economy is about to collapse, but you're telling your people, give me more money so I can buy a piece of land, how does one register that in their mind? When one's on the verge of being hungry, possibly jobless, possibly homeless, but the teacher is saying, give me money so I can buy a piece of land. All right? So again, you being the teachers, you're supposed to be the ones who are truly measuring and giving the congregation the right information to sustain themselves. As the scripture says, wisdom and knowledge should be the stability of that time. And shame on you people, man. Shame on you people for being those sheep being led to the slaughter. You know, here Donald Trump is about to enact all kinds of, you know, martial law, executive orders. Now he's talking about, you know, people who got student loans. If you ain't paying that back, they coming to take your paycheck. They're going to garnish your wages. But the leaders over there talking about, yeah, don't worry about it. Give me some money so we can buy a piece of land. And then what? It's going to take what you get all this money, you buy the land. Now you gotta renovate the land. You gotta get excavators. All this shit gotta go down. So you're looking at least 2-3 years before this project is even, you know, in play. People ain't gonna be able to wait that long. All right. So again, measure thou the time diligent in itself, and when thou seest the part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that is the very same time wherein the highest Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai will begin to visit the world in which he made. All right. So again, being watchmen, standing on your watch, and it's the basic concept. If you got a dog in your yard and he hears something, what's he gonna do? He's gonna raise up, ears are gonna go up, tail's gonna go up, and he's gonna go into that statue mode and be focused on where that noise came from. That's what a teacher needs to do also. A teacher in this truth needs to be in that same mindset. All right? Let's continue. This is Malachi 4:1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble. You're looking to seek to buy some land when you've been given clear and concise information about the future of this place. Now, if you said, yeah, we need to get a new apartment, we got to find a new place to live, we looking for first, last, and security, maybe the congregation can help out, no problem. But to buy a piece of property, and to hope and dream that this piece of property is going to turn into some major community center outreach program that's going to help the black woman, the single black woman with her kids, that's going to give the so-called black man an opportunity to get a job. You're delusional. You people are highly delusional, man. Because the stock market can crash any minute now. You see? And knowing that America is driven by how well the stock market is doing. Donald Trump and these tariffs. Taxes are going up here and there. And then you got counteractive tariffs, if you will. Ain't no time you be messing around trying to buy a piece of goddamn land, man. Y'all better get your mind right. You better get your mind right and know that the Lord is about to start, doing some damage out here. All right? And it says, in that day, in the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. So that piece of land that you're looking to buy, there's going to be nothing left but smoke and burning pitch. That's what's going to be left behind. All right. So with all that being said, this wasn't a very long lesson, but it was to the point that, you people who are listening, young men who are just coming in, the scriptures speak about getting with men who you can trust, men who are delivering the true word of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. The time is coming. The time is at hand. The time of Jacob's trouble is right around the corner. They're moving swiftly and speedily to implement that MO. Okay? But we here at Great Millstone want to continue to be on our watch, be on our guard as we've been commanded, and warning the people. So Lord willing, I'm going to see y'all another one. I'm going to say shalom.